Hey babe, how you doing?
Can everybody hear me? I have Coco here. She's going to be my residential fluid speaker and assistant today. Coco, Banner White, only. I like teasing her. But for joining today, we're going to go over some different sentences you may or may not have heard, and I'm going to break them down at first just to show you which each part of the sentence means. And then I'll go into different conjugations, as they call it in English language, on where and how to use negations on some of these words, or one word in particular. And it goes pretty in depth into it. And if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to stop me from talking. But let's go ahead and start with the first sentence here. And it is Estet. Somebody asked me in my last class, or the last class last week, how would you say who is your family? And this is how you would say it. Estet. To break down this sentence here, Estet means who. There's a few different ways you can say that. You can say stet, stet. All of them are correct. It's just the proper one would be Estet. But you could hear it a few different ways. Estet, det, cena, hvmke, usually the way you would ask it at the end. So cena, hvmke, that's two words. And this word right here, you can see, I got a question maybe. These and you. Oh, let me do that. Okay, there we go. So I got it up there. Okay, so Estet cena hvmke is your sentence. Cena hvmke is two words, and I'll get to that in a second. But the first part, chi, it means you. The ina gets combined with chi and becomes ina, china, which means your body, right here. Hvmke, if you know your numbers, hvmke is one. Well, it sounds like one, but hvmgen is one. But cena hvmke is like your one body. And I don't know if there's a word for family. Becky, is there a word for family other than cena hvmke? Nahumgogi is what she said. But how you would ask the question is cena hvmke towa. And that towa part at the end is the question. That's how you make it a question. So your whole sentence would be Estet cena hvmke towa, and that is asking literally who is your one body, instead of family or whatever. The question would be who is your one body. Okay, let's go to the next slide, or if I can. Oh, it would be okay. Anybody have any questions on that one before I go on to the next one? If no questions, I'll go on to the next one. The next one is Cewynhkete. That's a question you can ask people when you first see them, Cewynhkete, and it means, are you well? So let's break down the let's break down Cewynhkete. The chi, meaning you again. Cewynhkete, you look it up in the dictionary, it means well or healthy. And how you ask the question on this one is ed. That's what makes it a question. Cewynhkete. Notice how we don't necessarily use the towa, because I think it might sound a little different if you say Cewynhkete, but the most commonly said one is Cewynhkete, and it means are you well or healthy. Any questions on that one before I proceed? If not, on to the next one. This is a sentence that might be said a lot around here, Oklahoma ways. I don't know where most of you guys are from, but wherever. Hey, don't go. And the meaning of that one is it's hot, isn't it? And it's more or less you're talking to somebody, hey, don't go. And you're asking them, it's hot, isn't it? And basically, I consider it a statement. It could be a question. We had a long conversation about this one, but we boil it down to a question. Hey, don't go. I can see. There it is. If you're watching the screen, there goes Miss Judy, our project manager. She likes walking the back and forth too. Okay, so hey, don't go. Let's break this one down here. Hey, right here means it's hot. And this ton is more or less saying, is it or it is. And then the negation part of it where it says, isn't it, is the goal. So isn't it hot? Or it's hot, isn't it? Hey, don't go. Okay, the next one I have for you lovely people here, Celvwete and Cewynhkete. Celvwete and Cewynhkete. Both questions, or both are questions asking for somebody else. Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Celvwete and Cewynhkete. So again, in both questions, there's a base word, and then there's a question part, and then there's the identifier for you. So the you in both of these questions up here is chi, and it means you. The base word, lowi, wonky, right here, means hungry and thirsty. They're two different questions, but they're very similar, so I put them all both on the same one. And then how you make it a question is this ed sound, ed. It doesn't necessarily mean anything translated over into the English language, but when you use it in this sentence, it makes it a question.
See, lovely, is it spelled L-A-U-W-E as well, or?
Very good question. One of our students in here asked if Lowy was spelled a different way, and I've seen it spelled L-V-O. Is that what it is? Would you ask?
No, L-A-U.
L-A-U-W-E. Yeah, it can be spelled both ways. To me, I don't focus on spelling too much, but you know, if you want to know the different ways of spelling it, I would suggest looking in the dictionary. I'm not a very good speller myself, but I have seen it spelled a few different ways.
Okay.
But I did look it up in the dictionary, and that's what it said, because like I said, I'm not a very good speller. Any questions, other questions on that one, aside from the spelling? Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, so we're gonna get to the conjugations here. And this one gets a little fun on these conjugations here. We had with the negations of goal. We probably talked about 30 minutes about this and how different ways you could say it and everything. And those are the types of conversations that I really like to have, so I didn't mind it at all. So we'll use a base word here of ayada or ayada. Ayada means to go. So to make this a sentence, drop the TV, add this dos part. Aye dos means he, she, or it is going. So to make that a negation part with the go, aye go dos. He, she, or it is not going. Okay, so in order to say I am going, aye dos. Aye dos. To make this I am, you add in this I, and I probably should have put it up here somewhere, but oh well. Aye dos. I am going. And so in order to make that a negation, aye go dos. I am not going. You put this go sound before your ending, which is dos. So aye go dos. I am not going. And so in order to say you are going, aye chi dos, that itchi, you can see that chi sound come in there. Like with Cewynhkete, Celvwete, the aye chi dos, you are going, which is, I don't, not said too often because you know that you are going. I don't usually use that, but this itchy, itzy is good to know because it comes into play in other forms of conjugations. So the next one, aye chi go dos, same thing, you know if you're not going, but you add in that go after this chi sound, and it makes it you are not going. And I'll explain in the next slide on this why this itchy sound right here can be important in some of the other negations or conjugations. I mean, well, let's go over it again because I think I only have one more slide. So the base word again is ayuda, to go. Ayidos makes it he, she, or it is going. There's another way you can say it too with just an S sound, ayus. But I found in my experience that when you use ayus, A-Y-E-S, a lot of fluent speakers will hear that last E sound right here as a different sound every time, and they'll tell you that you're saying it wrong. So I just started using this dos, and it worked. So I tricked them. So I'm one ahead of the fluent speakers over here. They might hear it as an I sound, as a B sound, as a long E. So to make it easier on yourself, especially if you have fluent speakers in your family or you know fluent speakers, I would use this dos and the doa part of it as opposed to just putting I or A-Y-E-S. That's another way you can write it. But if you say ayidos, he or she is going. Okay, so now the next one. Ayigo dos, he, she, or it is not going. Aye dos, I am going. Ayego dos, I am not going. Ayitsi dos, you are going. Ayitsi go dos. Okay. Okay, so if you were here for last week's session or class that they made me teach, I went over this taye part, and that means can or able. So we're going to add this taye in there with this go, this negation. Okay, so, and here's how you ask questions with it as well. So you remember me saying the towa, and doa is a question or the ed. In this situation, you're going to use doa. Aigo doa, and this is it means he, she, or it is not going. This is like the 30-minute conversation we had about this goal because, okay, we'll go on to the next one though. I'll explain it on this one. It's a lot easier. Aichigo doa, are you not going? You know, in English, when you ask those questions, it's kind of, I don't necessarily know how to answer it, yes or no, because it's a negative question, if that makes sense. But you just answer, yeah, I'm going. But Aichigo doa is how you would ask, are you not going? You could also say Aichigo, which means if you take out this doa, Aichigo, and it's asking the same thing, but it all matters of, depends on your tone, on how you ask. Aichigo, did you not go? Or are you not going? Aichigo, that go, kind of fun to say. But we'll go on to the next one. And remember, I said this taye from my last class I had, it means can and able. You can add Aichigo daya, Aichigo daya, are you not able to go? Aichigo daya. Anybody have any questions on that one? Okay, I think I have one more. Okay, so here are negative responses to the questions Celvwete and Cewynhkete using this goal sound. In this situation or this instance, the goal isn't necessarily used. It's this K sound, and this S is mainly an ending. Excuse me. So you can say Celowix in response to Celvwete, or you can say Cewynhkete in response to Cewynhkete. We'll break down these two right here, Celowix and Cewynhkete. Cha is me or I. Your base words are lowy and wonky. Lowy means hungry, wonky is thirsty. Yeah, it's over there like this. And then, like I said, the go He's really only using this K sound. Sorry about that. I had to dry throat. I started coughing all over the place. Okay, so let's go back to this. Let's just redo this whole thing here. So Celvwete and Cewynhkete is the question that you asked, which is, are you hungry and are you thirsty? And you can say, no, I am not hungry. No, I'm not thirsty. So Celvwete would be, I am not thirsty or I'm not hungry. Cewynhkete would be, I am not hungry. So we break down this sentence here. Cha is I or me, and your base words of these two sentences here are Celvwete is hungry, Cewynhkete is thirsty. And like I said, the go usually is only using this K sound, so that makes it a negation or no, and the S is the it. Got it. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Let's stop this share because that was the last slide there. Where's my? Can I? Does anybody have any questions on any of the stuff that we went over today? I can go back to screen share if you had any questions on it. More than happy to help. I have my helpful speaker here, Miss Carolyn McNatt. Any spot you'd like to go over again too, I'm more than happy to go over. I'm trying to look at the first slide, sure. There you go. I know she's not talking about that one. Okay, here's the first slide. Mvskoke Obanaga. You're welcome. Okay, so the first one is Estet hvmke. Who is your family? So Estet means who, cena hvmke is 2 words. So the chi part means you. The ina, it's combined with chi, and that's what makes it cena. Ina means body. And the hvmke, similar to one, cena hvmke means you're one body. And the question form of it would be the towa. That just makes it a question. Again, that doesn't mean anything by itself, but when you add it into a sentence, it'll say, it makes it a question. So Estet cena hvmke towa is your question.
But you said you can.
And all
also
these,
say- sorry.
This short lesson here will be added on to Google Drive by Jordan. She'll put it up there.
Now, you said you can also say Jenna Humgo.
Do you have any specific questions on that, Miss Monica, about any of them? I can go over anything else if anybody would like. I can make these longer. I can make them shorter. But again, the goal part is what I really wanted to focus on. So I'll just go over this one again. The conjugations that make them a negation. So with the go sound, aidos, aigodos, he or she is not going. I cannot hear you. I don't know. I don't think I was talking that loud.
No.
Yes, you can. Chinahum gogi. That would work too. You can say that word too. That's what me and Becky were talking about in that sentence. Chinahum gogi. You could say it like that as well. Chinahum gogi. The ogi part of it, if the idea of this class is to break down sentences, the ogi means like a group of people. So who is your one body, your group of one body? So that'll work too. Chinahum gidoa. Chinahum gogi doa. You can say that as well. Where's my aido? Okay, so let's go over this again. The aidos, how you make that I am going. This I'm looking at this third point here. This I makes it I am going. Aidos. So you could say the next one would be I am not going. Aiegodos. And then you are going, aitsidos. You are not going, aitsigodos. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat, or you can just unmute your mic and ask. If you want to practice, you want to use some of the words we had last week. That's what we are here for. If I don't know it, I have Carolyn here and Coco, who's now back. So Coco can answer questions too. So we'll go over this one too. The ai go towa, meaning he, she, or it is not going. Ai go towa. He, she, or it is not going. Aitsi go doa. Are you not going? Aitsi go doa. Are you not going? So you, and then that one you could also say, it just depends on their tone. Aitsi go. It's asking the same thing, but it's not in that towa form or the question form. So the next one would be Aitsi go daya. Are you not able to go? Or you can't go, or something, you know, something similar to that. Yeah, that one's easy. Does anybody have any questions on that one, or maybe some more sentences that we could break down, or anything? More than happy to help. I didn't think it would be this short on this lesson here. please ask away. This is what we're here for. What about plurals with taye? Can you give it to me in a sentence? And are you talking about like they, or can we go? Ooh, that's a good one. That one will be asked for Miss Carolyn. Can we go? Hvmke, can we go?
I would say,
Yeah. Okay. So I'll have Jordan write this in the chat because she likes writing stuff. Abi dayido. Dayido? Abi daya? Oh, abi dayido. So some of these words will get changed. Let me stop this share here. Some of these words will get changed if you're talking about more than one person. So ayada turns to abiyada. So abi dayido. So APE. TAYE, and then dowa, TOWA. APE, TAYE, and then TOWA. Yep. B daidoa. So like I said, oh, goodness. Some of these questions, some of these words gets changed into other forms of words, depending on if you're talking about more than one person. Ayada is talking about one person. It could be you, me, he, she, or it. But when you talk about multiple people, abi daidoa, that would be can we go? That was a good question, and I'm glad I have Miss Carolyn here, and also Coco to my left, who would be able to answer that in a heartbeat. What about, is there any other questions you would ask on that one? Anybody want to ask? On some of the stuff that we have gone over.
Does it change even more if you say, can we all go?
Yeah. Coco. Can we all go? So Magaya, abi. Yeah. B-E. Oh yeah. I told her to spell it wrong. A B-E daido. There should be a Y-E in between the first E and the T. Yeah. A B-E daido.
Yeah, we say,
Yeah. A Mogia. A B-E daido. What about that first one? Is that spelled wrong? A B daido. No.
Not the way I say it.
Okay.
That's it.
Ooh, another one. Are they going?
Only Malga,
Amoga abiyahana. Amoga abiyahana. Got some good questions here. Very good typer. Abiyahana. Yeah. Amoga abiyahana.
They say, oh,
Yeah. Yep, we haven't gone over the ahan part of going, but I was going to do that on the next one. Amoga abiyahana doa. Yeah. That'll be on the next one. The ahan, I was waiting for that one, but that's a good question. Amoga abiyahana doa. Is that right? Very good question, though. And I'll have Jordan type that out because she just loves typing stuff. Omolka. OLMGK. No, MPLK80. Space. ABE Handor. So APEYE. BHANN. TOWA.
APYE.
Yeah, take out that E. BH, no, take out that E. BHANNTOWA. Yeah. Sure, send it. A mole got that second B should be taken out. A mole got a beer handle one. That's a mole got.
You said the letters too fast.
I apologize for that. She doesn't have the Mvskoke Creek keyboard, so they put in B's and stuff when they're not supposed to. But a mole got a beer handle, that would be, are all of them going? Are they all going to go? Or are they all going? But very good question. I left this last 30 minutes up to see if anybody had any questions, so we can stand here and look at each other, or we can ask some questions, whatever you want to do. We can go over it again. That's what it is. This thing's blowing air. I keep stepping back. Got a fan right in my
You
face.
turn it off, turn it on.
Can he go with us? Ooh, that's another one we got to add into there. Yeah, but I mean, we can answer it though. So that would be,
If it's not he or she, I guess, can go with us, it would be Mvskoke Hana
yeah,
or Mvskoke Handoa. You can use both of them.
mhm. I'll have Carolyn come up there and say it. Once you come up there and say it, and I'll have Jordan type it.
Up to you.
Here's Carolyn McNatt. Oh, I can answer that one though. That one's easy.
What was that
I
question?
might go. So
He's-
IEA Wadey. So let's answer that one, Samantha's, because it makes me look good. IYI or AYI and then space Wadey, WITE. Yep, IEA Wadey. That's, I might go, but to answer that, to answer,
Can he, she
That's
go
not it.
with us? Is that what it is?
yes,
Can he go with us?
can he, she, I'm gonna have Carolyn answer, can he or she go with us?
So can he, she go with us? I would say Mvskoke Hana or Mvskoke Handoa. Either of them, you can say it them two ways. It's still asking, can he, she go with us? So both of them are question saying Mvskoke Handoa or Mvskoke Hana. So here,
Mvskoke Hana.
Mvskoke Hana or Mvskoke Handoa.
Let's look right to you. Mvskoke Hana. Right. Ooh, where's the chat? Mvskoke Hana.
Yeah, Mvskoke Hana. Or like I say, you could say Mvskoke Handoa or Doa.
Yeah.
But both of them still answering he or she, or they gonna go with us, it's still the same as asking if they're going with us. And both of them still a question.
Because see, okay, when we see AK, I hear her saying, oh.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, Mvskoke Handoa
Mvskoke Hana or Mvskoke Hana.
or Mvskoke Hana.
Let's say it.
Mvskoke Hana.
Mado, Miss Carolyn.
Mvskoke Handoa. Not right there.
Mhm. But that's another, okay. This is a Carolyn question, again, if I ever seen one. May I ask about the bull part of that?
It's just part of that question that's asking,
That's-
if or are they
Yeah.
going with us, and that's what, it's just part of, like, full of speakers gonna understand that when we say,
Yeah, to,
this is like part of the question.
yeah, to me, that, Samantha, that is a part of the person marker. So if you say, where, I can't even see myself, make sure you guys can see me. Okay, so if you can say cha, chi, boom, that boom part is a part of it to where it's like our or us. That would make that the us part of the Zakayana.
Yeah, that's where the full comes in.
Yeah, the bull means us or our, it depending on your sentence usage. Did that answer the question there, Samantha? I'm gonna assume yes, because that was a good question on that one. Anybody else have any questions on that one? Or not on that particular, but any question at all? I could, now that I have Coco sitting right here, I can call on her to help me if I get a little lost. And I would love to call on her. She loves answering questions, loves being on the screen. Anybody have any questions? Please ask away in the chat. I'm not afraid to ask any question to anybody. As you can tell, I always call them people that know a little bit more than me or a lot more than me. So don't be afraid to ask anything. Don't. Can she go with me? Can she go with me? Coco?
That'd be the same as she gave them that answer a while ago.
Yeah.
Can she go with
Because
us?
that's he,
Yeah.
that tends to he or she.
Good answer.
Coco.
You could say like, Zakayana, and just it no particular male or female.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ajajakayahana.
Yeah.
Ajajakayahana. So it'd be BC A space CAK space AYV HN HAN in the Ajajakayahana. Right?
Yeah.
So you're replacing that bowl sound with Aja Jak Ayahana. I don't think the Ayahana changes too much unless you're talking about two people going, but you're talking about one person. So it's Ayahana, Aja Jak Ayahana. What is the Jak part of it?
Like we say there, the right there is like two people.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like that person there is like asking, it's kind of like me, like, are they going with me? And
Okay.
that's how I get that job.
Aja Jak Ayahana. So if you guys didn't know, Carolyn does have a class on Tuesdays and Thursday evening, and she also does this class too. So if you need her help on Tuesday and Thursday, she'll be here with me on Monday and Wednesday to help too, because I learned a lot from her as well. She doesn't know that she signed up for this class too to teach it, but but very good question. Very good question. Can she go with me? You guys are being very polite with your questions. Very polite. Can she go with me? Can she go with us? And conversational is more or less, she's going to go. There's not that politeness. But you guys are very nice people. So trying to get down to the bottom of the chat, Jordan. Mouse it. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. What do you say, please stand up?
Yeah. We're trying to figure out the chat here. I know there's one more question. It just keeps on moving. Oh, she said, I don't think I heard what that jock part means. Ayahana. Carolyn, would you like to get up and explain that part a little bit more?
To me, it's just part of the conversation that you just understand. And where it says, "Azazakayahana," it means like me, are they going with me? And this is part of the question. And that's just, like I said, it's just part of speaking. And a fluent speaker is going to understand what you're saying. But Azazakayahana, it kind of like they or is she going with me, and that's kind of like what that job means, and that's how I see it as it's like pertaining to two people, and that one person is like referring like it's me, and are they coming with me or are they going? And does that help you in any way?
It's both of them, Odette. However you want to spell it, you can spell it that way.
Yeah, it is, but they always say it depends on how you speak or where you come from, because some people do speak different, and that's where I guess the dialects come in. So you'll probably hear it different than what I'm saying it, but that's okay too, because you're still understood.
What up? So on your question, is it ACV or BCA? I don't focus too much on the spelling. Whatever you hear, spell it that way. Because unfortunately, when our speakers are talking, they don't have subtitles above their head to where you can read it. So there's no right or wrong on that one to me. But if you want to learn it and read it in one of the books or any of the books that have it out there, by all means, whatever's better for you, can go buy it. So either or to me.
Yeah, because like I always say when I teach, it's like I'm saying my words the way I'm raised with,
Yep.
so they probably are going to hear it different.
Yep. And on Paul's point here, the jock to mean with, it kind of means it with it or with, but I would go with what Carolyn would say there. So I wouldn't go around putting the jock on everything.
It depends on the conversation.
Yeah, it all depends on the conversation. So so but I know I didn't necessarily answer your question there, Odette, but that's just how I see it. So what the heck? Anybody else have any other questions on any of those? Maybe we could say something for you or anything. This has been a pretty good class for me. I learned a lot from Miss Carolyn here just by sitting in here and learning. So don't take one of my friends said that your language journey isn't a sprint, isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. It's going to take a lot of practice, a lot of effort, and you'll get there. So personally, even me, like I try to learn every day, and sitting here with Carolyn and Coco and all these people that they teach you, they can teach you a lot. So always be willing to learn and learn more. But if that's it, nobody has any other questions, I'm gonna say Mado for joining. We are starting Mahaya Stephen Powell's class at 3 p.m. today, and we'll have Becky's class tomorrow, Tuesday at noon, and I'll have one at noon. But Stevens will be every day for the month of July, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. And again, with Carolyn's, she'll have Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I don't know where you guys are, but Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. every Tuesday and Thursday. Let me answer this last question here. You can go or you can't go. So ayitsi taye, ayitsi ko taye. Yeah. Mado. These slides will be on there, and Miss Odette, I think that question you asked was on the slides that Jordan will post on Google Drive. So, Mado, for everybody coming out again, 3 p.m. Stephen will have a class and it'll be over Senate's building. Tuesday and Thursday, Carolyn will go over Senate's building and construction of where to place words to. So, Mado, for joining. Mvskoke. Mado, Mvskoke.